Chapter 13. Navigating Through Turbulent Waters. As we step into March, a time filled with budding promises of spring, I find myself reflecting on a recent event that shook me to the core. It all began with a simple announcement from my partner, a surprise trip to London in July. We hadn't really had the chance to take a proper honeymoon or any trips together, so this gesture meant a lot to me. You see, my partner, let's call him Legion, was always very transparent about his life. He prided himself on honesty and despised deceit. He often said, in a relationship, everything should be open and clear. I trusted him completely, never feeling the need to invade his privacy by checking his phone. However, a series of events unfolded that shattered that trust. It was around mid-March, nearing the end of the month, when I stumbled upon something unexpected. Legion was in the shower, and his phone received a text message from a woman. The preview of the message left room for interpretation, and my curiosity got the better of me. I entered his passcode and read the message, only to discover it was from his aunt, who shared the same name as his ex-girlfriend. It was an innocent exchange, yet it planted a seed of doubt in my mind. After scrolling through his messages, I noticed he had Facebook Messenger installed, with several unread messages. I couldn't resist peeking, and what I found left me speechless. There were conversations with about 7 women, some of which contained suggestive messages. One message in particular caught my eye, hinting at physical intimacy. My heart sank as I realized the extent of his interactions with these women. Confronting him was inevitable. I demanded an explanation for his actions, feeling a mix of anger and betrayal. His response was dismissive, claiming it was all harmless flirting and meant nothing. But to me, it was a blatant disregard for our relationship and the commitment we shared. What hurt the most was the realization that the person I thought I knew was not the same person reflected in those messages. It felt like a betrayal of the trust I had placed in him. I couldn't help but question the authenticity of our relationship and whether I truly knew him at all. Despite his attempts to downplay the situation, I couldn't shake off the feeling of betrayal. It wasn't just about the messages themselves, but the breach of trust that cut deep. I found myself grappling with conflicting emotions, torn between anger and sadness. In the end, I realized that I deserved better. No amount of excuses could justify his actions or repair the damage done to our relationship. It was a painful lesson, but one that ultimately led me to prioritize my own well-being and walk away from a relationship built on lies and deception. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my emotions in check. It was a silly situation, really. He said he'd delete the messages, even delete the Messenger app. But deep down, I knew that wouldn't solve our underlying issues. That's when I suggested marriage counseling. Surprisingly, he didn't object. We hadn't done premarital counseling, but he was open to this. It might help us, he said, and I agreed. I couldn't confirm if he physically cheated, but those exchanged pictures spoke volumes. I was disappointed. I never liked the idea of him engaging in that sort of thing. We decided to start marriage counseling and present a united front when my mom visited. We agreed not to argue in front of her, to act as if everything was fine. By April, when my mom arrived, I couldn't stand being around him. He had moved back into our bedroom a few days before she came. Seeing those messages made me question myself. What was wrong with me? Why did he seek something elsewhere? It hurt, seeing those conversations stretching back for weeks. My self-esteem took a hit, and I couldn't bear to be near him. I found solace in driving, letting the open road clear my mind. I called my aunt, needing to confide in someone. She listened, offering a mix of tough love and understanding. "You married him," she reminded me. "You can't just walk away like he's a boyfriend." It was a stark reality check. So, despite my inner turmoil, I went back home. We needed to have that conversation about marriage counseling. It was the only way forward.